normally do a lot of live streams, but I feel like today is a good day to do one, and I wasn't overly prepared for what was coming in terms of what we got. Obviously, I had a idea that we might get certain certain news from Apple at some point towards the back end of October. We got it a little bit earlier than I think most people anticipated, but I was very excited by the prospect that it's been refreshed, even if it's a slight spec bump, for a couple of reasons that I was a little bit concerned with, and I felt like if it wasn't done sooner rather than later, then it may have posed a few challenges that Apple may have struggled with. So let me just see if I can get any questions or anything up so that I can make sure that I can see what people are saying if they ask any questions. So bear me 1 second. That's not it. 1 sec. Let's see if we can get them up. Maybe I have to. Oh, nope. Let's see. Well, as it stands at the moment, I can't get any questions up. I'm a little bit stuck. But thanks for joining me anyway. We'll just crack on with what I wanted to talk about. So M5 Vision Pro has now been announced. It's going to release on the 22nd of October. Really excited to get my hands on it and give it a try and find out what is coming in terms of Apple Vision Pro's spec bump. This M5 chip is definitely being deployed to Vision Pro because the Vision Pro M2 is definitely performed as a chip for AI. So if you think about this logically, we've got Samsung releasing their next sort of entry into headsets and spatial computing with the Galaxy XR. That's going to be dropping extremely soon, and because of that, Apple Vision Pro is just doesn't have the horsepower to manage fast AI tasks. So this is kind of in response to this headset kind of coming out, I believe, and maybe not, that they knew it was going to be so close together, but they knew that they needed to do something to give Vision Pro developers an opportunity to utilize AI in their apps, utilize more machine learning. And with the Samsung headset, it's going to be like Gemini AI first. It's going to be very important to the whole experience of that headset. So Apple obviously being behind a bit with Apple Intelligence and trying to integrate new features for not only Vision Pro, but all the different Apple devices out there. Having an M5 chip in Vision Pro makes a lot of sense. Now, obviously, some of the more kind of like promoted features are obviously a slightly improved battery life, but that's going to come from the performance of the M5, which you would expect would have better efficiency. Then you're going to have this 120 hertz improvement. That 120 hertz probably is going to work very well for gaming, but it's supposed to help with motion blur that you get from pass-through. So if you think about it logically, pass-through has had this motion blur as you move your head from left to right, up and down. So hopefully it will improve the pass-through as you move your head around. So that's quite a welcome improvement. Obviously, I won't be able to gauge if that is good or not until I try it. So hopefully I'll get an opportunity to try it really, really soon. I definitely would like to see what people's questions are on here, but I don't know, unless someone can tell me, how I can get anything up. So if you want to ask any questions, please write them. I'm hoping that they will pop up, but as it stands at the moment, I'm not seeing anything, so I'm not 100% sure whether I will see any questions. But for the 6 of you guys in here, what are your thoughts on the spec bump? What are your thoughts on the new strap? I'm really excited for that. I'm more excited for the new strap than I am the new headset, because my M2, for the most part, is still very much alive and kicking, doing very well. But I really do still find the head strap options that I've reviewed over the last year or so not adequate enough for me. I still live with Ana Pro 2, which I feel isn't always perfect, does sometimes give me a little bit of headache. Not always, but sometimes, and I will tend to contribute to that, because if I'm wearing Vision Pro for a long period of time, then it's that and Vision Pro maybe. So and me not drinking enough fluid. But yeah, the new head strap, if you don't know much about it, is a dual knit band, and it has one dial, which is amazing, because the way that it works is the dial is on the one side, which will allow you to tighten it up from the back. Then you pop it out, and it's got like this mechanism where it pops out, and then you can tighten the top. So they're independently adjustable, which is really, really cool. But a lot of people don't know this, but it is weighted. So it has got tungsten weights in the back of the head strap to give it more of a counterbalance. And this is where, when I said it in my video that I released today, that the headset has increased in weight, it's not the actual Vision Pro device itself, it is the head strap that comes with it. So the new dual knit head strap has counterweight tungsten inserts, and I believe in the rear of the head strap. So that is where the extra 100 to 150 counterweight weight in total is coming from. So yeah, if you didn't know that, that is the main reason why there's been an increase in the weight of Vision Pro, which is not going to be for everyone. Absolutely not. So yeah, we will see what it's like. I will hopefully get an opportunity to try that on as soon as possible. I will be picking up the head strap as soon as possible as well, because I tried to order it online, and as I put it in my basket, I got sidetracked, had to go and do a job, and then when I came back, the shipping times had slipped into November, and I'm not waiting until November. I want you guys to be the first to be informed about anything possible with relation to Vision Pro, anything new. And so getting that head strap will be really important, because there's going to be a lot of you guys that aren't going to upgrade, but you are very interested in finding a little bit more added top support and counterbalance in an elegant and first party way. So these are really important things, I think, for Vision Pro owners, or if you're looking to buy the new one and it'll be your first Vision Pro, why it's heavier and why it may be a benefit that it's heavier. So there we are. Other things to talk about with the news of new M5 products, and particularly M5 Vision Pro, is that we are now going to get the Muse pen that's coming from Logitech that's launched. I believe it's around 130 something pounds in the UK, probably similar in the US, in some way or another, plus tax. And we have now got news that in early November you will be able to buy PlayStation VR2 controllers standalone, and you will no longer need to have either owned one or have to go and buy a whole PSVR 2, because that is insane. So the only downside is it's $250. Not sure about what it is in Europe yet, but hopefully it is going to be. I'd like to hope that it's more dollars to pounds and not exact numbers, because that's what happened with Vision Pro initially, is that it dropped in the US at $3,500 plus tax wherever you're based, but in the UK it released at £3,500, which is kind of almost kind of heading up towards $4,000, which is a hell of a lot of money. And this time around, they've released Vision Pro in the UK for £3,199, giving the UK a £300 discount on the new Vision Pro. Whereas obviously in the US and maybe in the parts of North America, you are still at the $3,500 side of it. So you felt the benefit at one point, which we didn't over here. I felt the benefit because I bought mine in the US, so I got mine considerably cheaper than in the UK. But people here are going to get that benefit now if they are going to get the M5 Vision Pro. So yeah, Vision Pro is definitely alive and well. Vision Pro is not dead. I have had to have a few debates with people today who are maybe not so sure about what Apple's strategy is, and obviously I don't know all of what Apple's strategy is. But what I will say is, working in spatial and XR for as long as I have, and just being into technology for as long as I have, you aren't going to start mass shipping a more affordable, more accessible vision product without a platform being readily built. And when Vision Pro launched back in 2023, or announced in 2023 to the world, there were very few true leaks. There were crappy drawings. Some were closer to the real thing than others, but nothing really concrete was in place for the name, what the head straps were going to be like, what the materials were going to be like that they were made out of. So really no one knew anything really other than internally about Vision Pro as a hardware product. And with that equals 0 applications that are not coming from Apple unless Apple divulged the information to you, which I felt was very sparing. There wasn't that many apps when it first launched. And now, even though the audience isn't huge, there are a lot more opportunities to see what developers have done with Vision OS. And there's some amazing applications, and I do need to do a video about some of my favorite ones right now. Obviously, I've mentioned in the past, I like D-Day, the camera soldier. That's a great application for storytelling and an experience. It's obviously minor amounts of interaction with it. It's not a game. So just to be clear, not a game. But there are some really interesting applications out there that I will do a video on very, very soon. I want you guys to always be informed about what new apps are out there and what you can do with Vision Pro if you own one. And also trying to help you not maybe get bored if you feel like you've done everything and you haven't maybe explored the App Store for some of the more niche applications. And obviously, I get an opportunity, thankfully, for what I do, to test quite a number of test flights in preparation for launch of new apps. So then when that's ready and technically I'm not under like any form of like embargo, I can then let you guys know that this is something worth downloading, whether it's free or paid. I don't tend to review things that I don't like, whether that be hardware, accessories, or applications. Yes, that may not be always great because there'll be it's subjective, isn't it? You may like something that I don't. I may like something that you don't. And that's kind of how it is. But realistically, I can't turn around and tell people you should do something if I didn't really like the experience myself. That doesn't really make much sense, and I don't want to be a content filler with stuff that realistically is a bit trashy. So that's really kind of my thing. And I don't tend to trash things, more be constructive. So that's something to sort of mention. Now, I really would like to see questions, and I don't know how there is a way to do this. I've tried to look and see if there's a way to see any questions, and I really don't know where to pull them up. So maybe I can't. I don't really know. I'm having a look and seeing if there's a but so far, no good. If anyone, I'd like to say if anyone can help, but it doesn't look like they can because it doesn't seem like I can see any questions, which I would like to do. Anyway, there are 4 of you on here. There's been quite a few of you jumping in. I appreciate it. If you do like this video, please do like it. It's super important because this just helps YouTube know that when I do live streams that you guys didn't just drop in and just leave, and the topics that I'm talking about are relevant for what you dropped in to come and see me and talk about. It's really appreciated that you guys have jumped on. Like I said, I don't do a lot of lives. You may want to see me do more. Realistically, I'm only going to do them when there's a lot to talk about. And maybe some of you guys I might catch on In Space. I drop in there every so often. If there's ever an opportunity and any of you guys want to meet on In Space, then please drop me a message in the comments of any of my videos. And you can always drop me an email as well. My email is in some of my video descriptions, quite a few of them. So you can always drop me an email or happily have a conversation about anything to do with spatial computing, whether it be VR, mixed reality, headsets, AR glasses. You know, I'm wearing at the moment the Halliday glasses. They're not necessarily AR. They're more like they're like a heads-up display, but not in the lenses like Meta displays are not Meta Ray-Ban displays. They're just in the top of the frame. I've got a small little, almost like it's like a dot matrix, like a green on black display, which gives me some information, AI, text messages, notifications, all that stuff. So I'm a nerd and I love this type of stuff. And I will always do my absolute best to try and feed back some of the cool stuff that I come across in my day-to-day work in life. Vision Pro is definitely kind of one of my passions because I've been, let's just say, an Apple fanboy forever. And I remember dreaming of a phone. So many of you probably were the same before iPhone ever released. And I was the same with Vision Pro, dreaming of the day that we would see Apple decide that their vision of whatever this would be like, no pun intended, because that was what we were saying amongst my friends, what was their vision for a headset of some kind, or sort of a XR spatial computer. I think that this was something that exceeded my expectations when I first got a chance to demo it, in terms of the experience and in terms of the interactions. And we're going to see a lot more Apple immersive level content coming from many content creators that are using the Blackmagic Cine immersive camera that is obviously Apple approved for shooting Apple immersive video. I was quite lucky a couple of weeks back, maybe just over a month ago, to hang out with Hugh Ho, who's a very well known immersive filmmaker and has done incredible things in that world. He's taught me a thing or two about how to do stuff with immersive media, which I do on my day-to-day job. For any of you guys that don't know, I have got a full-time job. I wish YouTube was my full-time job, but it is definitely not. But my full-time job is in this industry, in immersive filmmaking, in hardware, for headsets, and also very interested in the future of digital capture and digital twins. So utilizing photogrammetry, Gaussian splatting, they're all very interesting topics to me that I haven't covered probably quite as much as I'd like to on the channel, but they are very niche. They are more niche than just video media. So from that standpoint, if I talk too much about that, maybe that kind of then doesn't lead into more broader topics that people might want to touch upon. So yeah, if you've got any questions about anything to do with spatial, to do with any hardware in spatial computing, to do with any applications, or this brand new M5 Vision Pro, please drop the questions into the comments of any video. Obviously, the newer video, the better in that sense, because it is about the M5 and what is new with that. And bearing in mind, I did that as soon as I possibly could to get the news out to anyone that wanted to know about it, and definitely had to do some deep dives into understanding what else this spec bump truly was going to offer. And to me personally, I think that this spec bump is, like I said at the very beginning of this video, is definitely out and out. The spec bump for the Vision Pro M5 is to make it more capable with Apple Intelligence and AI in general. I think that without M5, M2 would have been very underpowered. And this would just allow these tasks like making, spatial photos, spatializing photos, or doing the spatial scenes kind of thing much quicker. The writing tools much quicker. The machine learning in the background of things work much better. And maybe we will see more opportunities to see visual intelligence and more. So there's so much to unpack about the whys. We haven't really had Apple saying that's definitive. So it's my opinion, not Apple's opinion, and I don't profess to being an Apple leaker by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, for the 4 of you guys on here, thank you very much. If you do like it, please press that like button, because This just means that I know that you enjoy what I do. I try my best, and that I know that if I could have questions thrown out to me, I absolutely would. For some reason, I can't see any questions or anything. I don't know why. Maybe I just don't have that facility because I've not done enough of these live streams. But I really would probably like to do more in the future, knowing that if I can have questions, I can give you that instant feedback. But instant feedback for me, knowing that you're enjoying this and getting something out of it, is to like this video. Liking this video is very important for me and the channel, because it just means that I know that you guys are very engaged and like the content that I'm sharing. Other things to talk about, because I'm going to wrap this up in the next 2 minutes. I don't want to keep you guys with waffling on about all sorts of stuff, but other things to just talk about. Just did a video a couple of days ago talking about the NBA and immersive video, and I'm very, very much looking forward to seeing how that is executed as live stream at Apple Immersive Video. I didn't really want to kind of jump on that bandwagon straight away, because I wanted to really think about what applications that would really be good for in terms of sports that are maybe more broadly watched where I am in the UK and in Europe, because NBA is not one of the biggest sports on this part of the world, in this part of the world. So in this part of the world, you're looking at soccer, if we're talking about football in the UK, Premier League, and you're looking at maybe golf, and looking at probably over here rugby in some ways. Having those types of sports in immersive would be incredible, but understanding that basketball courts are smaller, you can probably get up a lot closer, and so there are some advantages to having NBA games live streamed in Apple Immersive quality. The other thing to mention was that I went to the Ryder Cup, which was incredible. Absolutely loved my experience of being in the States for that one. I know that there was a bit of flack thrown at the American attendees for maybe being a little bit brash and over the line at times, but I didn't really sense too much of that on the final day's play. That was definitely sort of stamped out quite a lot on the final day's play. But I shot some spatial video. You may not be into golf, but I shot some spatial video at the tournament. So anybody who'd like to see any of that, just even if it's just for sampling the experience on Vision Pro, go and check out my video that I posted the other day. It was an AVE news video. And there's some links in the description to email me or just write a comment, and we'll work out a way to get you some of that spatial media. Moving on, we've had Beta 3 launch. If you're on the Vision OS 26.1 betas, Beta 3 launched literally the day that I released my video saying that Beta 2 had launched. So that didn't age well, which was frustrating, but it's fine because I hadn't upgraded to it, and I will upgrade to it now. It was one of those things where I'm always having to be very cautious about bricking my device, because if I don't have a device, it's very hard to do stuff related directly to Vision Pro. So I'm always conscious, and I'm reading Reddit and other people's opinions on what the beta is doing, how it's working, what are the good, what are the bad. That's really why I don't always instantly upgrade, unless there is a feature that has been kind of like pending, like when we were waiting for the ultra wide on Apple Vision Pro for Mac Virtual Display. That was very welcome, so I was like, I need to get that downloaded straight away. And then we were waiting for the Jupiter moon environment. That took quite a lot of time to come through. The minute that was launched, I was all over it. So get that downloaded and take the risk that I won't brick my device for a beta. We're running into 25 minutes. That's where we're going to wrap this up. Thank you very much, guys, for joining me on my live stream. Again, apologise to you guys for not being able to take any questions couldn't see anywhere where I could see people writing questions on here. I don't know if anybody did, but realistically, I can't see anything popping up in relation to questions. So please write them on any of the videos that I've got up, especially the more recent ones. I'll happily answer them, even if it's not to do with that particular video's topic. And with that, we are about to hit 5 minutes. Thank you for joining me on this live stream. It is very late here in the UK, but I wanted to have a quick chit chat about it. And I will catch you for another video. There'll be some more coming very, very soon. And I'll see you later.